We can't do everything. We can't be everyone. We are always posed with choices. We have to make choices. We have to decide things overall. So it's incredibly important that the decisions you make, as limited as they are important to you, that you're not wasting time doing things that don't make you happy. It's important from time to We're gonna hold this painting now. Today I wanted to treat all of you with this sort of experience and do something a little bit special for everyone. And with that today we are going to be coming together and painting. We're going to be painting our favorite Don't Starve characters. And of course, we can't start this journey without painting our absolute favorite. My absolute favorite, anyway. The one and only Wigfrid. But first and foremost, we need to prepare all of the paints that we are going to be using today. Tungsten red, black, velvety snow white. We'll get some yellow in here, green. We want to get this nice foresty look overall. Ooh, there we go. You can hear a little splurt come out. So we'll put in some brown too. Now with that, I hope everybody has their palette ready. And before we get started, I do find it very important to remind everyone today that I am in fact not a professional artist. I am just a hobbyist. And I'm not a very good hobbyist, too. So I would even go as far to say I'm not even a good artist here today. So when you take advice from what I'm doing, take it with a grain of salt because we're all going to figure this out together. First step, of course, is selecting the brush. You want to select a very good brush. You need something thick, something big, nice and big. Give it a few smacks, make sure it works. This is proper technique. And we're going to start making our first marks upon the canvas. You want to lay it in there nice and even. Just nice and even. Don't be afraid to explore the canvas. So you want to just keep mixing and bringing in that color. And you can see here we got a little bit of dirt going. A little bit of maybe think like a path through the forest, or graveyards to dig up for loot and to take from those that clearly don't need it anymore. Just to bring in the emotion from it. If you're into more splatter painting, of course you can splat it on there as well, but I'm more of I like to stroke it a little bit more. Make sure that it's nice and even all throughout. Now that you have your green canvas ready to go, we have our green backdrop to this, it's important that we add some more texture, some more to the environment as well. And I want you to grab in just a tiny bit of black. Now I know what you might be thinking. Oh no, he's going to mess it up here. Life is only full of happy little accidents. Everything we draw, this is intentional through the end. But what you want to do is you want to just highlight. Just light little mark, giving some accent to the environment. Now I want you to take a moment and swap and go to a little bit of brown. A little bit more brown. We want to, just a little bit, just the tiniest little bit of brown. As we start with our next step, we are going to be bringing in white. We're going to get started on the textures of Wigfrid's face. So we're going to start here. We're going to aim, bring it out. There. It's okay to lay it in a little bit hard, a little bit thicker here. We want to make sure that we're pretty well defined with our design. Too, because we're going to be laying in the mouth, the eyes. It's all very, very important to her face, right? We've got Wigfrid. She's a proud warrior, so we got to make sure it's not a circle exactly. You got to make sure you have a good, well-defined chin in here as well. I also want to make sure that we're pointing out which is going to be her arms, right? We want to extend that out to add some depth. So let's give her an arm. Give her an arm ring. Add in a little. We're blotting out, we're kind of tracing out the end piece here. So it's very, it's okay if it's a little fragmented. We'll be adding in the finer details later on. So now we're gonna go for our brown. So I want you to go in and grab as much brown. I want you to really lay it in thick in the brush. Really lay it in there. Because we're gonna start moving and we're gonna start focusing on core, chest and body, torso to legs. So we're gonna start here. Got a nice body here now. You want to make sure that we're texturizing, right? You want to add a little arch for the back. We want to make sure it's nice and smooth. Don't forget to add like a little curvature here, so that she's not just standing up straight, right? She's not just a straight curve. You want a little bit of that curvature, that feel overall, so that it comes out. Perfect. Now grab some more of that brown. We're going to start on the cap part of our helm. Now this is very important. You want to do this little motion here. There. She's powerful. This helm is her proud. Calls out. It's okay to dip in and grab a little bit of the white. And just cap. Now I'm going to have you clean off your brush here, and we're going to go back in. We're going to introduce another dynamic. I want to get focused in on some of the finer details, and so in this case, we are going to need to mix a little bit for some gray. We're going to need some gray, and we want to get that refined kind of silvery look. So as we take a look here, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place her spear. We got to go up here, and we're going to place a nice little diamond. Got to be nice and pointy, otherwise it's not as effective. She's not, I mean, she does use hand bats, so I guess bludgeoning weapons are okay, but this is a victorious battle spear. A nice little battle spear. You got a nice little stabs in here. Now we're going to zoom in for some of these finer details in a moment, because we want to really accent some of the armor that is within her legs and chain. This is okay to be a little fitted. We want to accent that it's under her main kind of like hide armor look, so it's important that we there you go. It also makes it more prominent for the warrior that she is. So we're gonna get a little bit of orange. Just a little bit. We don't need a whole lot, too. We're not going to overdo it with the orange, because this is an accent color. And because it's an accent color, you want to grab a nice small brush. You give it a little test, make sure it's good, too. You give it a little kiss. It works. Perfect. Beautiful. We're going to start with her belt. Dab it in just lightly. You don't want to overdo it on the brush, right? It's an accent. We're doing just a little bit. We're going to do her belt, right? If your accent color comes out really bold, that's perfectly fine. It adds more character to her. It draws attention to the eyes. The eyes are drawn to these accents and these extra pops of color. So it's very, very important that you take the time. It's okay. And if it's a little bold, that just means Wigfrid's even more bold for you. Now, Wigfrid is a warrior. Her hair gets in her way, too. So she doesn't put a lot of care into the design or the look of her hair or the feel of it. It's just to get it out of the way and prominent there. We need to be prominent on her hair. All right, so you just want the little touch. Right? You also notice it on the right side of her head, but it's just like a fragment. This would be more on the left side of her head. We're hinting at she has all this extra hair, right? So now we got to do the prominent, glorious part of her head. Her pigtail, right? While her name is Wigfrid, she does have reminders of Wendy. So we want to make sure that we have that kind of accent. And I don't mean Wendy with the dead sister. Absolutely. You know what? We absolutely are going to draw the little bird. The little bird's very important, too. We want to focus on the main part of the meal, but the little bird's that little mint you get when you leave the restaurant. Now, once you have her hair and you feel quite solid with it, we're going to start moving into the helm itself and adding in the finer details, because she is not just any proud warrior. She is a proud Pegasus warrior, our Nordic time. We're going to grab a little bit of that white. Dab it on. Give it a nice little touch here. We'll get the wing. Go ahead and just draw like the horns. Draw it like she's beefalo. Right? You get the beefalo horns. You start there. Right? And now, shoot them out. Just pull the paint. Just pull in the paint. I want to make sure you zoom in so you can see this technique. You're going to pull the paint. It'll give that nice wispy sort of look. Now I want you to grab a little bit more paint here as we're going to start focusing in on our unicorn head. pull here. You want to do kind of a back access and front nose. Fill out the net. Don't worry about getting so many extra colors. It adds a little more character to our horse. Now, our fellow steed has very pristine hair, much like our hero and our heroine. So, while the image here and the reference image that we're working from has orange, don't feel like you need to do orange. Don't feel like you need to conform to what you're seeing over there. You can express yourself in a variety. So I'm gonna grab another brush, and we're gonna put a little bit of red. We're gonna do something a little crazy with this. I'm gonna do a little bit of red here, because I want our Pegasus to match the authority and power that is Wigfrid. Great. Flowy, pull out the hair, the brush, but don't worry about getting crazy with it. This is our powerful warrior Pegasus. So now we're going to start getting into more of the defined feature, more of the important characteristics that are Wigfrid, which of course is going to be her face. This is important that you get this shape here because we want to get her battle cry. We want to really emphasize her power. This is not only for her screaming for her enemies, but it is for her rooting for her friends, for her calling out everything. You take your brush, and I want you to follow the line. It's okay. Just make a nice curve. Connect the pigment. Right? Now I know this looks a little bit like a mustache, but we're filling it in, right? Now, I don't know about your guys' drawings, but my Wigfrid is starting to look a little bit like a Muppet. And that's okay. We all have different personalities about this, and all have different impressions. We're gonna define her eyes, and it's the eyebrows that like power that comes from her eyes. Right? You gotta get the eyebrows. They really add to the face, but they add that emotion, power. We're gonna draw her eyebrows. Now you wanna draw angry eyebrows. And it's okay if they're thick. She's powerful, she's strong, independent woman. Now let's get into the finer details. So I want you to grab your fine brush. This can be something that's really thin, really thin. This is where we're gonna start adding in all of the details we need. Now, of course, we don't want to miss the bird. We want to have that nice little friend there, something for her victory cry, and it kind of offsets the environment a little bit more. So I'm gonna grab your detail brush again. We're just gonna draw a nice little curvature. I'm gonna do a nice little red bird. Just draw that body. Give it a nice big belly. You want a nice little curvature. Just something simple. You can give it a little beat. Right? Pull the paint out at the end of the curve. Don't forget the belly. The belly is what sells it, and it's a bird. Next, you gotta remember in this world that nobody has pupils, nobody has eyes, everybody has that kind of possessed look to them. Why don't you grab your white? That nice little bit of white. Just stop. Beautiful. A nice little white there. Now, the last and most important feature of any painting is to sign it. To make sure that you indicate clearly that it is your design. It is the one that you have come up with and added here. So I have some little paint pens. I hope these work well. I have a shock here. It says to paint down the tip. Beautiful. Beautiful. Black thumb. And then just sign your diagram. Just initial or add your signature. Beautiful. There, we're gonna take a moment here. I'm gonna bring up the final photo, final painting. This is our very own Wigfrid painting. So it's our beautiful picture here from Essen as well. I love the fish. I love the full feeling of that kind of like yin and yang touch to it, and you've got the nice curvature. I like that call out as well. Amazing, Pumpernickel. This is fantastic. I appreciate the design and the attention to detail here. I love the extra red for the freckles. That adds like a nice little accent to our very, very wonderful Wigfrid. So I'll let the group decide. Go ahead and put it in chat what you would like to paint while I get our next palette. I've also been very intentional to not put my water near the paint water because I'm one to accidentally drink paint water. Ooh. Amazing. So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna paint one more painting. It looks like we are going to be painting Wes. Let's dive into the colors. So Wes here, he is our very mime. We wanna make sure that when we do draw his face, we paint his face, he's got face paint. He's very clear. But I also wanna point out here that Wes isn't just our normal average character. No. Wes has pupils. See, Wes is not insane, ever. In fact, he comes to this land pre-insane, because I'll be honest, all mimes are insane. He's got pupils. He's just mostly confused about where he's at. He's like, this is just another day for me, right? And we want to draw that out, that kind of confusion. That's not because of where he's at. He's just a mime. That's his normal day-to-day life, too. And who are we to judge how one chooses to live? So we've got our yellow. Next, we're gonna grab in that brown, right? We wanna grab in that savannah. We're gonna make nice of a yellowy tan. Kind of a crisp, not full of life, but you can sense the life. You can kind of feel it in the air. So when you're doing your textures, when you're doing your strokes across, don't be afraid to just explore the canvas. Do as you will, do as the feeling allows. So I'm gonna actually start with a diagonal. Start with this kind of weird offset from here. This is different. This is new. This is an unexplored territory. We'll grab even more. We'll now make an X. X marks the spot. This is where Wes is gonna go. This is where Wes lives, where he thrives. This is where X and Wes died. Now what I'm drawing here is what I call like the dress format there. If you ever have any questions about if I know what I'm talking about, I don't. Just a reminder, I am not a professional artist. I don't know shit. So we're making it all up. This format here, this is known as the elegant dress. Too. It gives kind of a nice overarching texture, but it also, what I want you to see here when you look at this, it draws in the eyes, the center. That's where we want Wes, right? Wes is a mime. He's silent, but he draws attention to himself. So we want to continue spreading out from the center. Right? He's got this kind of nonsensical. There's no mistakes. It's all happy coincidence. Think of the creatures you see in the savannah. Get hungry for that beefalo. And just really breathe it in. You want to do it in charge. You want to have that kind of like intentionality with everything that you do. It's like life without intentions, life without kind of that purpose is pointless, right? You want to have that intentionality with all the actions. You want to be intentional with the people that you interact with. You want to be intentional with the statements that you make. It's important to have that kind of intentionality not only in your everyday life, but in your art. You want to bring that out. You don't want to drop this randomly. You don't want to explore life randomly. It's an adventure, but you want to have a purpose to the actions that you're holding. Many times in life, I find myself asking myself the question of, am I happy? Am I enjoying the work that I'm doing? Am I enjoying the friends that I'm making along the way? Is it all worth it? Is the adventure worth it? Because what is life without a little adventure, a little exploration? Right? It's important from time to we're gonna hold this painting now. It's important from time to time to reflect. Do some introspection. Figure out, what do you want out of your life? A nice little bit graceful. What do you want out of your life? What do you want out of the experience of your life? Are you happy? Are you enjoying where you're at? If you're not enjoying where you're at, what do you need to change? What do you need to explore to find it? Everything is within reach. It's just a matter of the effort and work that you want to put into it. The adventure that you're willing to have and the sacrifices you're willing to make. The reality of life is that our time is limited. We can't do everything. We can't be everyone. We are always posed with choices. We have to make choices. We have to decide things overall. So it's incredibly important that the decisions you make, as limited as they are important to you, and that you're not wasting time doing things that don't make you happy, that don't give you that satisfaction, that don't let you just wake up in the morning and smile. That's what's important. And that's what's important with all of life. For Wes, we switch brushes. We do something a little different, something unexpected. Now remember, give it a good flick. Make sure it's what you want. I've got a soft feeling. Wes is gentle. He's confused. We don't want to harm him. Make sure you love and care for your brushes. Mwah. Make sure it's good. Now we're going to lay it on thick here, like he lays on his makeup. I want you to think and consider how much work Wes has to put in every single day to make sure his makeup is pristine and he doesn't break the illusion. And he doesn't convince anyone around him that he's human. That he's always a mind. Too. We're going to accent it, right? We're going to draw the outline. We're going to more define chins. We'll learn from our mistakes. Learn from our kind of happy style, how we do it. Now, Wes has a very, very, I guess you would call it pentagonal head, too. So just trying to draw like an upside down house. But you can keep laying it in thick. That's my favorite part about paint. Is you just, when it's not quite right, you just paint over it. You try again. Now, we are going to start highlighting some of the other parts of his physique, his body, if you will. We want to give him long, slender legs at some point in time, but we also want to make sure we give him thin arms. Make sure to give him some thick hands and gloves. We'll design them later. We'll put on the fingers later. We want nice and big, because he's got a pretty big hands there. You can even do his little, I don't know, Spider-Man line here. So we're gonna take that nice little dainty red, and you can see it on the upper corner here. I like to call it tangerine pink here. So we got a little bit of tangerine pink. And now he's thin. He's organized. So we want to focus on his arm. One day. You want to connect it right to his head. Just like that. Let's do a nice little zoom in. You can see what I'm working with. Now his other arm, it comes from further up in his head. Nice and thin. You don't have to worry too much about it. Wonderful. So now that we've highlighted this out, the next thing that we'd like to do is we want to highlight his cheeks as well. He is a mime, so we need to do a little bit of that face. Now we're also, to finish up our red, because we don't want to overuse and switch colors too often. I don't know if it's bad for the brushes, but it's bad for my ego. And we want to highlight his umbrella. Now, his umbrella is a darker red. It is kind of that Wigfrid blood red, and a kind of crimson color. And so that's why we're using our crimson here for his umbrella. That'd be perfect. Remember, it's a small umbrella. Thin, like our Wes character. Change it up. We're now going to move over to his pants. Now, with this, I'm going to use this curved brush again, where we're going to fill in with black and give him a good, bountiful booty, right? Something that draws in the eye, but not too much. I mean, we want to tease, but not overdo it. You draw a little bit of that booty. Next, we're gonna draw in his legs. So he has nice, thin legs. Remember, he's not drawing too much attention, but he's also very meek, which is why he's hungry all the time, too, and why he can't take punch as well. You're gonna draw in the leg, just do a nice little swoop, and a foot. It's animated, he's animated. So it's okay if it's not like the perfect leg. There. We're gonna do this. Remember, he's trying to be nice and tall, and he's trying to draw your eyes to the umbrella that he has in his hand. Little does he know that he's being stalked right now even by the insanity monsters, which he just calls friends. Now, finally, we're going to work on his hair. His hair is very, very important. See, Wes has kind of like a messy style, but kind of like that metro messy too. A little bit like my hair, but my hair looks nicer. Yeah. But you want to think the wings. Remember, you pull the paint. Don't make the paint work for you. Right? You don't have to pay the paint like a full salary or anything like that. Make it do a little bit of chores around the house. Something a little simple, like get it, rough it up a little bit. Right? Make a little scratch. Do something crazy. But pull the paint out. A nice texture. Now, he's not an old man, so you don't want it fully gray. But he's a little crazy, and when you get a little crazy, your hair gets a little crazier too. Now for our next steps, and we're actually very close to the end because Wes is basically done at this point. Details, particularly on the face. See, Wes has a very, very well-defined face, and so we need to complement his well-defined face with well-defined. We're going to dry off the brush, and I want you to grab your nice, thin detail brush. So we're going to take black. I'm going to start here with his mouth. Now, Wes has got simple little line. But he doesn't have just a line, right? He's got the lips. He's doing just a little kiss. That'll be perfect. A little tiny kiss. Once again, if you've laid on a lot of makeup like I have on his face, you might need just a little more paint to really emphasize Wes's little kiss. Make sure that when you look at it, it's smoochable. Right? Give Wes a little kiss. Mwah. Perfect. Because you want to make sure he's perfectly kissable. He's a very charming, very, very charming mime. But the insanity will draw you in, and it'll tear you apart. It'll tear us all apart. And I think with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed our painting of Wes. So of course, the most important final detail with any painting that you do, you want to sign it to your name. You want to make sure that the world knows, here's our ASMR, the world knows who is responsible for this monstrosity that we are witnessing here. We're going to draw in here. And we have completed our portrait here of Wes. And I'm going to bring him up closer so you guys can get a much clearer shot of our little boy, our little man. Going to pull over here. And we've got Pumpernickel's Wes Drake drawing. Ooh, I love it. I love the detail of the green hair, too. It really, it pulls him out. It makes him more exciting as a character. I'm a huge fan. This is a fantastic Wes. Very, very good job. Very well done. Make sure, oh, that's amazing. Even with the zoom in, you can just, he's always there. He's always there watching over us as we go explore. This is how I feel, Pumpernickel. We're on the server. I'm running around and I'm like, he's always protecting me. I know I'm safe. We're going to get the next part on, which is I'm going to actually launch Don't Starve. And we're going to set up our server now.